Hey everybody, Tony here with the Fibonacci lesson that was requested by a lot of you. This will be a pretty short lesson as it's honestly pretty simple to understand and interpret once you have kind of a visual to go behind what exactly Fibonacci is. So kind of to break it down, Fibonacci is essentially just a number sequence. It's used by a ton of traders. It's a really great technical indicator, and essentially just showing you support and resistance. So when looking at a naked chart, you can use this on all time frames. This is the daily chart on FSL. You're looking for the highest peak, the highest near-term peak, and then you take it all the way to the low. So I take my tool here, go all the way from the top, bringing that all the way down to the bottom. Now, when you go from the top and you drag it to the bottom, that is going to chart resistance levels for you. So you can see here on FSL, we see these different levels of resistance on the way up. Now, if I delete this tool and want to show support levels, I would go from the nearest low and drag it to the nearest top. So you're going from the left to the right. Now we see support levels. You can see the 0 fib level is at the top now instead of the 100, and the 100's at the bottom. So it's essentially just flipped. But Fibonacci is very, very useful when looking at support and resistance levels, as so many traders are using it. It's termed like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a sense, because the only reason it works is that others are using it. The same with a lot of other indicators as well. So if I'm looking at this Fibonacci chart, okay, we can see there's a big wick on the daily right off this 23 fib level. Now this 23 fib level sitting at $7.06, and you'd ask yourself, well, if this fib level wasn't here, would we have bounced here? Chances are no. Chances are the reason this bounced is that many traders were using Fibonacci and they see this fib level here. It's really good for support and resistance. And say you break a resistance level, this 38 fib sitting at 813, if that resistance level is broken and you back test that and get a bounce or wick off, it would then have turned that level into support. So it works both ways. It's very, very useful. You find that it works more often than not, for sure. It's just another tool in the bag when trying to find entries and exits. It's very useful for undercutting resistance. So say we approach this 50 fib level at 898, which is also right next to the $9 psychological level. Chances are when we approach this, we probably get a bounce off and rejection. So what I like to do a lot is I'll put a sell in like 5-10 cents under a fib level, a resistance level. And that kind of gives me a higher probability of getting an order filled. Same with support. As we approach this. Now, it didn't exactly bounce off 706. It was about 2 cents short. What I probably would have done was bid maybe 5 cents above this level at like 710, 711, just to get a higher probability of getting an order filled. Now, say I get an order filled in here, we bounce to like 710, and we back test this level. I would have a stop in place probably somewhere under this, or maybe a couple cents under 7. Because chances are, if that breaks this fib level and then 7, you're going to flush through. So very good for support resistance, entries and exits, and also stop placement. Another thing to keep in mind is, say you have a moving average that's sitting right at a fib level, and you're back testing that moving average, which is right on that fib level. Chances of that bouncing with those two indicators there is pretty high. And higher than if it was just a fib level or just a moving average with no fib level. So again, for resistance, you go from the left top peak all the way down to the right low. And same thing if you want, well, not the same thing, but if you want to go for support, you would go from the bottom peak on the left to the nearest high on the right. And then this would show you your support levels. So very useful. You can use this on all time frames. It's very useful on the intraday as well. And this is how you do it on TradingView. I know you can do it on Thinkorswim and Webull as well, whatever platform you use. But a very, very useful indicator. and something I use all the time. I think you guys will really like this. But as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and I will obviously answer them for you. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed this.